everyone, and welcome back to OTTB on Tap. I'm Neve.
And I'm Emily. Hey, Neve, what's on tap today?
Today, we are finally catching up with one of our RRP contributors from last year, Stephanie Parkot, who lives in Corfu, New York. And you can catch up on the rest of her journey up until the makeover on our regular feed. And you can hear all about my journey and with my retired racehorse, Oscar, aka Go Green, over on our Patreon account. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please do. You can listen to little previews of various episodes, and we have 2 different tiers there for you to check out. So yeah, welcome back, Stephanie. It's been a while.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Let's jump right in. Can you just give us a quick, since it has been a minute, a quick refresher about your horse and what discipline or disciplines you were going to be training for at the makeover?
Yeah, so the 2025 makeover was my second year going, and this year I went with my horse Sterling Honor, and we competed in freestyle and competitive trail. Competitive trail was a repeat for me. I did that in 2024 with my horse Bestie, or Best Idea, and freestyle was a new discipline that I tried this past year.
And what was your original, I guess you would say, vision when you entered and when you chose those disciplines?
Competitive trail was a personal goal for myself to see if I could be in the top 10 with a different horse, because I was in the top 10 with Bestie in 2024. And then freestyle was just because I was a little braver this year. I'd done it once and I really loved that event. When I watched it in 2024, I got to volunteer. And I just thought it paired really well with competitive trail and matched my horse's personality. And I was able to do it with my son, who was old enough this past year to participate with me.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was, not to jump ahead, but it was really interesting to be there and to watch and see how those 2 disciplines really do play well together.
I feel like if a horse is well suited for one of those, they're probably well suited for the other. In some ways, they like that kind of curiosity, bravery, attention piece, I think. So, yeah. And can you just really quick refresh our listeners' memories about how you acquired Sterling?
Yep. So I adopted Sterling from New Vocations, and I ended up getting him in 2024 when I was down there for the makeover I did with Bestie. He also came from New Vocations. So we went to the open house and he was there, and we just really liked him. He's also by honor code, and he was what I was looking for, even though I wasn't really looking for a new horse at the time. He came home with us. No regrets. He's been amazing. And yeah, so he came home with me in October of 2024. Awesome. I'm getting confused on the years because it's just...
It's hard to keep track.
Time's flying.
It seems so long ago, 2024, right?
I'm like,
it's
that's 2026. Okay.
It's wild. So just before you left for the makeover, how were you feeling in terms of your prep? Were you feeling, okay, there's no more training to be done. I'm as trained up as I can be. I know that the weather gave us some setbacks this summer. Were you feeling pretty well? Okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I was. A few weeks before, he had this weird lameness thing, which this happened with Bestie too. It was like both of my horses decide to just give me a heart attack like a few weeks before we leave for Kentucky, apparently. And he just randomly came up 3-legged lame, and we're like pulling his shoe. My farrier's like pulling his shoe and thinking it's an abscess, and we're wrapping and soaking and doing all these things. And no abscess popped out, but he eventually was sound. And I don't know what that was all about. The bruise is my best guess. That was just a stressful week or so as he was improving from that. But at that point, I was kind of like, we're as good as we're going to be. There's nothing else to do. So I just wanted him to get through that.
And I think I remember you saying that the last couple of weeks that just everything came together. You had gone to a couple of competitive trail obstacle course competitions, and just everything was just clicking into place, and you felt, okay, we're like a real partnership now.
Yeah, it definitely did. He was a struggle early on with things like just his anxiety, and he was only 3 when I got him, and keeping my horses at home. I had a trailer out to do a lot of things, and that was stressful for him, but we worked through it. But yeah, everything just came together at the end. He really started to get it and really relax.
Yeah.
Do you have more questions, Neve, or should we move on to the next section? Okay. Didn't want to cut you off if you had more exploration. Also, I noticed you didn't try to say / for our Patreon. Anyway, sorry, off topic. As usual, I kept saying backsplash. I could not stop saying. Yeah. Anyway, so let's fast forward a little bit to your arrival in Kentucky. And now you'd been there obviously the year before. What was that feeling that you had when you do the long drive? You've done all this preparation and you're finally pulling in to the Kentucky Horse Park.
It's just so exciting. You finally made it. It is just the best feeling. And I trailered down this year with a friend and her horse. So Sterling got to have a buddy to trailer down with.
Oh, that's so nice.
And so that was really good for him to have that. And yeah, I drove down with my husband, a dog, the 3 boys, and we pull into the horse park and you see the big sign and you're driving in and there's all the signage for the makeover. Just is really cool. And then having done it already the year before, it just felt really familiar. And I felt so much more confident going in than I did, obviously, the first year where it was a lot of unknown. So it did not feel overwhelming, just exciting because we already knew what to do, what to expect. And we definitely had a game plan going in, my husband and I, like, what did we do? What did we learn from last year? What are we going to do differently this year? And everything went really well. Our game plan actually worked. We pre-ordered our groceries for the campground and picked them up at Walmart and knew where we were going to eat for dinner. And the camper was set up. Last year we went and got it, which was not good. So we had the guy come set it up. But we also knew where to tell him to set it up because we had been there. So it all just fell into place really nicely this past year.
Yeah. And I do think there is a learning curve, right? Not only to the makeover, but also the horse park of just like, where the heck do I have to go to if I want to lunge my horse? Yeah. Like, when can I ride in these rings? And there's a lot of rules, but also a lot of flexibility. And I think they do try to accommodate everybody, but it can be certainly easier, I'm sure, the second time around.
Yeah, we already knew the lay of the land and where our barn was installed was one over from where I was last year. So it was all very familiar.
Yeah, for sure. Good. I was going to ask about the rain.
Oh, do
we have anything about that?
No, we can get to that when we talk about competitive trail, though, maybe.
Okay, I'll wait.
And then how was Sterling in terms of getting there, settling in, and just taking in the atmosphere?
Yeah, he was good. The first day or two, he really did not love the stall. He didn't want to go in the stall. Like, he'd just stop and stand there and ask someone to kind of shoo him in. He's pretty good about all of the show stuff. I had taken him to a lot of shows and he had been out off property a lot. So he was good.
And I feel like where your barn was, even though it's busy in that area, you're a little bit away from the chaos. It was probably both to my detriment and like a good thing that Oscar was in a place where it was so busy because he's such a nosy horse. But the first day or two, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And like yours, you could really see off into the distance in the other rings. And mine had only looked out at the other barn.
It gave you a little more focus.
Yeah.
Not like overseeing the warm-up arenas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then what did you do the first day or so? Did you just hand walk him around or did you decide to hop on him and take him for a little hack or anything like that?
I did not hop on him. We got there Monday, later afternoon.
Yeah.
And he just hung out in his stall. I think I hand walked him around. And I had found from taking him places that he definitely does better when he's walked around for a while first. And he didn't ever do great with lunging, little bit of different things. But lunging him first, didn't just seem to work him up more. So hand walking and just doing some groundwork at the walk and just getting his attention on me, and then putting him away for a while, picking him back out in a couple hours, a little walking. So I did that and just kind of let him settle, and then got us settled in the campground.
I think there's really something to be said for, and we talked about this a little bit when I recapped my experience there, but we were there with a non-OTTB person and explaining to her like the process of teaching the horse to be able to self-soothe themselves, because there's only so much you can do to hold their hand. So like you're saying, just figuring out the combination of what works for the horse and saying, okay, he's not going to graze quietly. He's constantly wanting to just break free and go visit with the other horses. So what can you do to, and it's also like about, if you've done enough of that stuff with them, is reinstating the familiar to them and say, just because we're in a new and exciting place doesn't mean you don't know how to access some of the stuff that's very familiar to you.
Yeah. And that's always been a big piece for him. He definitely likes to be micromanaged. Like, he wants me to hold his hand because he's not always the most confident horse. So that gave him that security.
Yeah. So Emily was about to bring up the rain, but we got a colossal amount of rain on the Tuesday. And that's when we did our competitive trail course walk, and we all did that together. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Tuesday, I'm trying to think when it started raining. Did we know it was going to rain?
I think it was forecast, but not 5 inches of rain in one day.
Yeah. So I think I knew it was going to rain. And so my game plan was, and I'm definitely a morning person. So my game plan was, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do something with him in the morning. And I was glad I did, because it rained much harder as the day went on. So I don't exactly remember what time I got on. It was probably I was probably done riding him by 10, I would think, because it was only lightly raining. And I decided you get the schooling tickets, right? So I was going to use one for the covered arena. I figured I'm not going to get soaked in there. We're going to need to be in there anyway for freestyle. So I'm going to take him in there. And I also needed to get my anxiety out about the covered arena.
I did the exact same thing.
Bestie was not good in there. He lost his mind in there. I couldn't even. Also, too, I took him in there when it was the practice for all the obstacles. Did you go in there, Neve, when that was going on?
They had a couple of obstacles set up in there, and then they were also dragging the arena when I was in there. Okay. But they were ranch people riding around, and Oscar loved it because it was so busy, but who knew?
Okay. Yeah. So that was the first time I had taken Bestie in there, and he lost his mind. I had to get off, and I literally walked him around there as he bucked in place, next to me as I was leading him. And I just the walk of shame, around with my bucking horse, and then walked out. So I was like, I'm going to get Sterling in there right away. But Sterling didn't care, because they're totally different. And so went in there Tuesday. There was only a couple people in there. It was lovely. It was quiet. They played music. And I had that moment of, oh, this is real. I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing right now. And I literally started to cry. I teared up as I'm trotting and cantering him around in that covered arena. And he's just being wonderful. And he's getting all that anxiety out and all of that stress from all the months. I'm here, I'm doing it. And so that was a really cool moment. And then I saw somebody there that I had been chatting with online, and I introduced myself, and she was super sweet. And she said, hey, do you want to walk back to the barn with me? He had a buddy to walk back with through the pouring rain on all the concrete.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Be a good boy. And he was great. So it was just a really great start to our time that Tuesday morning.
No, that's amazing. You never know, like you were saying with your other horse, that I don't know what it is about that covered arena. It's large, right? But it's not enormous, but it's got open sides and then seating, but it's also covered. So there's a lot of
screen that's lighting up.
And you don't really even see that until you get in there. And then if there's music playing or they're talking over the loudspeaker to make announcements, it's
the echoing is a lot.
Yeah.
Very intense.
Yeah, I did think it was better this year, though, without the vendors around the outside. And they moved that, and that was really smart, because the vendors made it feel much more claustrophobic, because they were there and blocking the outside view. Yeah, the outside view. And then obviously there were more people and noise and just commotion.
Yeah, I think that definitely helped. I remember walking that competitive trail course in the pouring rain.
Yeah, so that was later in the day. Yep. And by then it was pouring.
I had my field boots on for that, so that was great. I don't think they've still dried out.
Gosh, we couldn't even hear her
we were talking about that. I was like, we couldn't hear her. And Emily had a person that was trying to share an umbrella with her, but that was like even making it harder to hear.
I know. It was like, I'm okay. I'm wet. Guess what? I am wet.
In terms of
as wet as I can be.
In terms of the course that was set up, was it similar to last year, easier, harder? What did you feel like?
Yeah, I actually had to go back and write down what the obstacles were so I could remember. But the theme was Kentucky, right? It was things, famous things in Kentucky. So, yeah, I thought it was very, very similar. Some of the things they keep from year to year. So the water obstacle is like a permanent thing. The dismounting and mounting, because you have to do that if you're part of a team to let the other team member get on. And yeah, there was similar things, bridges, and you have to show all 3 gates. So there was a canter portion as well. So wasn't anything. Yeah, when I initially looked at it, there wasn't anything that made me concerned. So
was there anything at all that you were worried about, or were you just, we've schooled all this, we can do all this, it should be fine?
The water for sure, because that's always been a tough one for my horses. I don't know. I try to practice the water, and there's something about that water.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky. And then it was also like 5 inches deeper the next day.
Yeah, and that was the thing too, was I knew we had this torrential rain and I was going to have to canter on the grass. So that did worry me. Going to be okay with that? Are we going to slip? And then the height of the water, and then how muddy is it going to be going down the bank into the water?
And just to describe that water, you have to come up a slight hill, and the horses don't really see the water until you're at the top of the hill. And then there's quite a steep grassy bank down into the water, but it's grass, right? At which then turned into very slippery mud.
Yeah, there's no real deviation between the entrance and, you're in the water. It was like a little tiny bit of mud, but it was like there was no place for the horse to understand, like, there's a deviation.
Yeah, like a flat spot there.
Or some stone dust or something.
Yeah. And what got both my horses both years was, the hill approaching it. And I remember, I think I trotted with Bestie, and we crested the hill, and he went, put on the brakes as soon as he saw the water, because it's not expected. And so with Sterling, I made sure I walked well before, so we had a little time to see and process that. So the water was definitely one thing. And then Sterling was never really great about dragging anything. So I was hoping there wasn't a drag portion. And there wasn't. There was a pulling a cart, which ended up being, he was a little goofy about it, but it really didn't get scored that badly.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how you would practice for that. It wasn't a traditional drag. I had dragged all sorts of stuff at that stage, and I was like, okay, this is a little train on a track.
Yeah, it was hard to get up to it, and it was hard to grab it and hard to hook the rope. That was more of the issue, was me managing getting the rope and then putting it back where they wanted
I feel like a couple of horses were trying to eat the decorations on it when they were trying to get the ropes put back on.
Yeah, Sterling did take a bite of the corn when we were doing the gate. I put on video.
Something that really struck me about that day of the competition was just, you went from that torrential rain the day before to a very bright day, but it was so windy. And there were flags. There were like 1,000 flags on that course, and they were all whipping so hard.
Yeah, because even in the rain the day before, I was like, those flags aren't that big of a deal. It was a little bit windy, but it was rainy and everything. And I was like, that's easy. And then the next day it was like gust.
No, flags are everywhere, and they are like snapping. How did his kind of brain hold up to the ask on the day of the competition?
Yeah, he did great. I took him up to the warm-up ring, like between the hunter and jumper area, the warm-up ring there, and just did like a quiet walk, trot, canter, and He really gave me some of the best rides I've ever had on him there in that ring. And it made me super happy because I wasn't able to do that with Bestie. I could not take him near any of the rings because the atmosphere was too electrifying for him. And I had to keep him out. I never took him to the covered arena.
Wow, yeah.
I did. Obviously, it didn't work. Or any of the rings. I only schooled him out in the cross country fields and on the grass. But this year, Sterling being opposite, he likes to be with the other horses and like buddies and stuff. So that was a comforting area for him. So anyway, he schooled beautifully. And we just walked over to the course and they said, it's not your time yet, but the other person's not here. You want to go? And I'm the type of person that's like, all right, I'm not going to sit around and stew about it. Yes, just let's do it. So yeah, I went right in and I don't even know. Were you guys up there yet, or were you like running over some? I feel like somebody was running over.
Yeah, I was up there.
Yeah, I think I ran up in because I remember taking some pictures of you during your routine.
Yeah,
and he just seemed so just with you, just so good.
Yeah. His mindset was really great about it. So the first thing was, I don't know if you want me to go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the first
Since
thing
I didn't
was
make it past the first thing, Steph.
Oh, I know. But it's tough up there because it's on a hill and you're looking out on this expanse.
There's people jumping cross-country jumps.
Yeah. And there's no place to warm up.
Oscar didn't stand a chance up there.
You literally have to just go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they just said, okay, you're ready? Okay, sure, I'm ready. So the first thing was side passing over a pole, which I knew we would crush it because that was always his best thing. So that was, boom, did that, no problem. Then it was the teeter bridge. Again, not a problem. Rope gate, that was great. He didn't give me any issue or hesitation there. Then we had to pick up the flag, trot a circle. Yeah, that all went really well. I think we had to throw a beanbag, is it a beanbag or a ball or something? Yeah, we had to throw that. And so I knew he would be great about that. So I tried to really lob it like right by his face to show, because I think they said that in the walkthrough, showing that your horse can really tolerate that instead of turning them, going right by their face, shows a higher level of difficulty. Pulling the cart, I had trouble with the rope and doing it, and he wiggled around a little bit. He was definitely better on the left, like me taking things with my left hand off of his left side than his right, and that was one you had to do on that side, I think. So he got a little wiggly and goofy, but I mean, it was still fine. And then the dismounting and mounting, and then we had to canter the quarter poles, which was great. And then it was the water. And he actually did not go through the water in the preliminary. I tried, and eventually I just had to pass on that one. And I thought for sure I was done. I was like, we're not getting to the top 10. We're not going to make the finals. Like, he didn't even do this obstacle. I'm not even sure if he put one hoof in the water. He said no. So I had to go around. And then the next thing was the back through the poles. And that one I was probably the most disappointed in because it's such an easy thing, like literally 2 poles on the ground. You just back your horse through. But he and I were so flustered from the water.
And then asking them to back up when they're already tense is so frustrating for them.
I was just so annoyed with myself for that one that I should have maybe taken a breath or something there. But anyway, he didn't back through very straight. He hit the poles. And then the last thing was just circling inside this little, I don't know, it's almost like a boxing ring type thing. And then you ding, you hit the bell to say that you're done. And everything except the water was great. Yeah. And I thought for sure we were done, but
we watched a lot of rounds and there were a lot of it. I think it was a very difficult course, one, because of the weather the day before, but also just because of the weather the day of. And obviously I had watched so many videos of them doing it in the covered arena, and I would have loved to have done it in there. But I think being up in that space is incredibly difficult when your horse is just like looking for other stuff. I do want to say though, your point, the little coal cart that you had to pull, that's a really good point about dragging it on the off side of the horse. When I was dragging stuff with Oscar, I wanted to drag stuff on both sides and drag stuff where the rope would go behind him and the thing would hit his back legs. You don't know, like, they see everything so differently out of their left eye and their right eye. A lot of people will say it's one brain and another brain, but I think because we do everything on their left side, they're so used to noise and activity and things, say like somebody coming up to adjust your stirrup or your girth or like whatever. So I think to ask a horse, and maybe it just didn't even dawn on you to practice on the offside. And I wonder, because a lot of people struggled with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely tried to do both, but he just never was really that great on that side because I'm sure I just didn't do it as much.
And
right?
I think also
and
when you're leaning off of the right side of them, they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Quick question about scoring. So you said that you didn't get to do the water in the preliminaries and you thought that would mean you'd be pretty much out of it for the finals.
Yeah.
How can you just do a brief rundown so listeners know a little bit about how the scoring works? And even though you didn't do an obstacle,
score sheet, can I walk away for a second and grab it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So what did they say here? Which number obstacle was the water?
I think it was
say
8, 7 or 8.
7 or 8, something like that.
It was
because there were 3 after it, right?
Yep. Okay, it was 8. So I got a 2.
Oh.
They gave me a 2.
Because you tried.
Both
so 2 out of 10
on that one. So that must have been, at least I attempted it. So I got some score.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of horse sports, I feel if you're jumping a show jumping round and you skip a fence, you'll be eliminated. So I think it's great that in this
and they did say in the walkthrough, as long as you attempt it, right, you get a partial score. And all of the scores were out of 10. So I got a lot of 6s, 7s, 8s. And then I had the 2. And then they also get scored for responsiveness to aids, evenness of pace, and demeanor, which I scored a 6 from one judge and an 8.5 with the other one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
So those all kind of come into play as well.
Should we talk through how the next round went? Or what happened? What happened after the prelim round?
Do you want to stay on competitive trail? Because I did the freestyle the next day.
Oh, yeah. We can just go in order, I guess, of how the day went.
And then go back to competitive trail. Okay.
Which, just a quick question. If you could get one obstacle completely out of competitive trail, which one would it be?
Oh, maybe the water. Yeah, because that's always been a tough one.
I wish it was a more...
I also think that one's really hard to press.
It is.
I had to have my husband dug me a hole in my yard. And obviously not everyone can do that. Or I had to trailer out to the park or in a place that has a cross-country field.
And I feel like even if they're really good at it and they go into every water, it's just different there. I do think you're right. There's something about that water. You definitely can't see the bottom of it. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. And some of the horses just went right through. So I'm like, tell me your secrets here on how you're doing that.
I know.
Yeah, I watched in the finale, the other horses went and they just went right through and they said, we'll give you higher points if you trot or canter through the water. And some horses did, which is really amazing.
Yeah. Moving on to freestyle, when did you have your practice? What day and time did you have the practice for that? Was it nighttime?
Gosh. It was really late at night. It was like 9 o'clock at night. And I can't remember now if it was Tuesday night
I feel like yours might have been
night.
Tuesday for some reason.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
So you talked a little bit about why you were interested in freestyle, but what was the pull there besides the fact that you were going to get to do it with Ethan? Did you just think, oh, Sterling just seems like he's got the right aptitude for this? Or had you thought about it ahead of time and picked a theme and everything?
Sterling is definitely the type, kind of likes his hands held and he likes to be told what to do and he likes the predictability of things, which is surprising that he did so well with the obstacles. But I feel like that just shows how trainable thoroughbreds are and how smart they are because I would not say he was a natural at obstacles at all. I think he is very happy to never do another obstacle in his life. He just, he wants just like the predictability. I always say he will be very happy in Hunterland, where he can go in and do his 2 minutes and his 8 fences and know exactly what he needs to do and come out of the ring. The freestyle, obviously, we can practice that. We make a routine, and we practiced it for months, or at least pieces of it for months. So he knew exactly what we were doing. He had heard the music. He knew Ethan and I. So I think that was a really great choice for him. And it was also just really fun and a challenge for me to do 2 disciplines and something that I hadn't tried the year before.
There's so much prep for both of these disciplines that you chose.
I don't know why for my first RRP I decided to do 2 that are just so labor intensive.
And you did a lot of props and stuff. That was my biggest thing, is how am I going to get all these props down there?
Did you walk us through your kind of concept of your freestyle yet?
No. So I ended up doing an 80s theme, and it morphed into an 80s workout theme.
I thought it was fun. It was
I don't even
so
know
fun to watch.
how we got there. Oh, I think because I started with the jump roping idea, and I had seen somebody do that on Instagram or TikTok, and they were jump roping while they were riding their horse at the canter. And I just thought,
why not?
That looks amazing. I'm doing that. So then it just all went from there. We found some fun music, and then Amazon, you can just get anything. So it was just buying all the cool 80s tracksuits and headbands. And we just had a lot of fun with it.
I love that. Absolutely.
So then it just went from there.
And your son, Ethan, helped you, right? How much fun was that? And how much did he really get into it?
Yeah, he definitely got into it. Yeah, we had a lot of fun when we went in there. We got to practice the night before. So I ended up meeting a couple friends that were there and assigned them like, okay, you have to run in, because we only have so much time. Was it like 8 minutes or something? So you got to have all your crew run in. And I don't know how you did it, Neve, because you had a ton of stuff. You had to take a truck
it was
in,
wild.
Right? Yeah. So I think we had the golf cart. I don't even know, but everybody ran in, put the things out, run out. And then Ethan and I went in, and when they announce you, which I thought was really fun, right? They say my name, they say the horse's name, they say how much he raced and what he earned and all of that, which is really fun. And then the music comes on, and it was really loud when that music first came on. And poor Sterling, he jumped in place. But luckily he was good, because our first thing was Ethan, I had a lunge line attached to Sterling, and he had to stand in place. And Ethan then I was at the other end of the jump rope, and Sterling was like the other person holding the rope, and Ethan had to jump rope, but Sterling had to stand by himself with no one holding him. So thankfully, when the music came on and he just jumped and then stood still and
started lunging himself.
I had him. He wasn't going to go anywhere, but he stood there. But it was like, dun, dun. So loud. And we got started, and we had done it enough times. We had it down, and we were just going through the routine, and everything went really well at the beginning. I felt it went really smoothly. We got to the canter portion, and we had to do big circles at the trot, at the canter. And then at the very end, I had to take the jump rope from Ethan, which was just 2 lunge whips tied together in the middle. And I had decided the night before I was just going to go for it. Even though we had never really done a full circle of cantering jump rope, I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I could have just done it at the walk.
Probably easier at the canter to get that rhythm.
Yeah, so I decided to go for it. So I got 1 revolution of the jump rope, and I got a little overexcited. And when I came around again, I didn't give myself enough, because you really had to fling it over his head. And I hit him with it. I hit him with the rope, which I didn't realize at the time, but I saw it in the video afterwards. And so when I hit him in the face with the rope, the poor horse, he didn't buck. He got a little annoyed with me, and I had to go back to the trot. Okay, get him contained. And I think we trotted and jump roped, and then eventually walked and jump roped. But
I can't even jump rope self. I can't imagine trying to.
It was very impressive.
Like fling two lunge whips over a horse's head.
It was more me than him. Like he couldn't have cared less. But it was just like the coordinating, because a lot of times in practice I would get it stuck at his tail if I didn't go back far enough and then hold it.
And he's a big horse, so it might
and
be
then
easier
come around with a good kind of flick to
all
get
the way up
in
and
front
over.
of him again. Yeah.
And we have some good videos of your routine, I think, so we'll have to post those for sure.
Yeah, it was really fun. It all just went really smoothly, and I was just so thrilled. The videos, I'm just get the biggest smile on my face cantering around.
There is also like something really cool about, like you were saying, about being announced and going in there. I felt so immensely proud when I walked in there, thinking of all the preparation that I had done, and then seeing the people surrounding me that had offered to help me out and were just there by my side. And I'm sure you felt that as well. And I also, as somebody that was in the crowd watching you, I was just like, I know her. Look at them go. It's so cool because we'd been with you every step of the way. And I don't know, it's hard to explain how special it is when you're doing it with other people and you're all going through the same thing together.
Yeah, it's really great to have that kind of moment in the spotlight after all that hard work.
And was he good with the crowd? Because I know it gets pretty crowded when...
Yeah, he didn't have any problems with any of that. Going in, going out, that little like warm up outside the covered arena.
That's pretty
like,
brutal.
He stayed pretty relaxed with that. Yeah, he was really good in that atmosphere.
That's amazing. He definitely seemed like, from the outside, just like a chill, like cool dude. I know that's not always the case, but he definitely gives off that.
Not always, but he's very good at shows, I will say. He definitely rises to the occasion. Yeah, which is just so impressive, knowing where we started. And
So if you were to do the freestyle again, is there anything that you would perhaps do differently?
Knowing what I know now, and I think Neve would agree, less is more on freestyle. And I didn't have nearly as many props, but they definitely scored just the compulsory movements a lot more than the
theatrics,
props and all the other stuff. Right? And they didn't care so much about if you picked up the wrong lead, I noticed. I think they more wanted to see relaxation and like a partnership with your horse. And they gave a lot of leeway for wrong leads or I don't know, things like that, because they're obviously green horses. So that wasn't scored.
I was very surprised
negatively
by that.
as you would think. I was a little bummed though, because they said that I didn't back up, and I did back up, and I wish that I had gotten my scorecard soon enough to contest it, because they gave me 0 for backing up 4 steps.
Yeah, I remember that specifically because you did. It was a very deliberate.
Said it was not performed, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I don't know if they were just sitting in the wrong spot, because it was part of a movement.
And did you back up towards the judges, like away from them? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if it just didn't look like I was purposely backing, and it was definitely 4 steps because I knew I had to do it, and I specifically made sure it was more.
It's a bummer.
Did you have a favorite freestyle routine that you saw during the makeover? Did you get to watch many of them?
I didn't actually watch any. I watched a lot of the practices. No, we did.
Yeah,
we
I thought we watched them together. Yeah.
And then I watched some of the practices. The one with the police.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one? What was it was just like a police thing, and they were arresting. There was a mob.
Yeah, that was really cute.
The horse had the goggles. It was really good. Did that one make it in the finals?
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that one was really good. That one stands out to me for sure.
I think I liked the Beauty and the Beast one. I thought that was good. I don't know if you caught that one, but that was a more simple one, I thought. But she did a lot of the prerequisite.
Yes.
And her horse was a beautiful mover.
Yes. It just looked really lovely.
Yeah, I think that girl was there last year. I think she does it a lot, and she always brings really nice horses. Yeah. And then, the dinosaurs with the blow up. and the people were running around. Do you remember
I didn't
that?
see
I did.
that
It was very
one.
cute. And I think like it was very fun and silly, but it took away from,
It was
distracting to the
right?
horse.
Yeah.
No bounds to the creativity, but really interesting
Yes.
though that you've got to really nail the other movements and very much less on the props, because I think the top placers really didn't have very many props at all.
Yeah. And the woman that won, I actually saw her practicing, and I remember thinking, wow, this is like really simple. Like, had some signs, and her horse was beautiful. And she just did the most beautiful compulsory movements and figures, and really used her whole space, which I think they were rewarding a lot, using the whole ring. And she was the one that won.
And she had, obviously she had a beautiful message with hers as well. But I wish they did a better job of explaining some of that. I definitely got way more involved in costume making. But that's just that's where I live.
You're going to make costumes regardless, Neve. So come on now. So that is all amazing, Stephanie. And it sounds like you had a lot of fun with the freestyle. Can you tell us a little bit about what your proudest moment of the week was?
My proudest moment would have to be on Saturday morning before the finals. I decided that we needed to have a little refresher on water, on walking through the water, because I didn't want to have to get to the finals and not be able to go through the water. So I decided I was going to take him for a little hack around the horse park, because I hadn't done that yet. And so Sterling and I just went by ourselves, and we rode out down toward the Rolex Arena. There's like a water obstacle down there. You can ride all around the horse park. So we just kind of went off on our own, and it was just such a beautiful morning. We walked down by the water, and I worked on getting him to go through the water, rode all around, and we just had this really fun like moment and like connection. And I was super proud of him, because he's not always the bravest, but he was just like a total rock star, just going out there on his own in a new place. And I felt like we were really confident going into the finals after that.
Oh, it's awesome. It's great when you have that breakthrough and beautiful, peaceful ride. And I know you mentioned he likes to be with other horses. So that must have felt incredible.
Yeah. So
awesome. So how did the finals go?
Yeah, so finals was Saturday, and we walked up there, the same thing as the preliminary. We just went up, we had a scheduled time, so we walked up there a little before that. Kind of same thing again. I got up there, oh, hey, do you want to go? The person's not here, or whatever the case was. Sure, yeah, let's just do it.
It was a shortened course too, right? Slightly shortened.
Yes. So the obstacles, there was 4. There were 6 obstacles, and the first one was a rolling bridge. So instead of teetering, it slid when your horse walked on it. It was totally fine with him. Then we had to rope a steer, picking up the lasso, going around over your horse's head and throwing it over the fake steer head. That was an issue for me. Not him, because I'm an English rider. I don't know how to rope or swing a lasso. And so we had a walkthrough, and we got to handle all of the props.
Oh, that's good.
And all of the things. And I tried to practice, but I don't know. I got on and I just kind of threw it.
You gave it all you got, though. You didn't just fling it. You like really tried to do it.
I tried to show that he didn't care about the rope being flung over his head, but it was certainly not well executed. So we got through that, and then again there was a canter portion, so they had like a clover leaf pattern that you had to canter through, and he did that beautifully. I was super proud of him. Like, I was worried he would break and that we wouldn't be able to keep the canter because it was on a hill.
That was hard.
And grass and all of that, and no, he was great. And I guess that's one good thing with keeping my horses at home, and I have a grass ring that they ride in. We ride out in the field. He was like, whatever about that. And then after that, it was the water. And I was bound and determined that I was not going to have to skip that obstacle this time. So we walked down to the water, and he even though we had practiced in the morning, he said, no, I'm not doing this water because that water is possessed. I'm convinced. And he was like, no, I'm not doing it. So somehow in my brain, it popped in, back him through the water, just back him in.
I was
Never
so
did
proud
this
of
with him before, ever. I don't know where I heard it. If I heard it, someone told me that, or I heard it in the walkthrough. I have no idea, but I just said, I'm going to back him in. So I did that. I turned him around and I backed him in. And at first he stepped out of it. I didn't back him in far enough. But we turned him around again immediately, backed in further, and he stayed in the water. And all I had to do then was just turn him and let him walk out, which once he was in the water, he was like, oh, okay. And he walked out on a loose rein. But I was just so happy because I didn't make it all this way to not go through this obstacle. So we got through the water. And then the last part was just trotting over like a clock of poles, like a circle, and then a mailbox, and just raising the flag. Your time was up.
I think if on Mike's video, because I think we were standing close to him, I'm sure you can hear Emily and I like clucking and just like, you got it.
I have to tell you though, I give you a lot of credit. I think I tried to get you to consider doing something cross country, and you were like, no, I'm a hunter rider. And then you're backing your horse down this muddy, steep embankment into the water. And I'm like, all right, girl, go for it.
That kind of stuff does not bother me. It's the jumps that get me. There's no jumps in cross country. But we just turned around and backed him in.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we were able to complete every obstacle, and I ended up coming in 10th in the finale, but I was just so proud of him.
Yeah. So you met your goal, right? Which was to be top 10.
Yep.
That is such an accomplishment to do that 2 years in a row. I think.
Really.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
Yeah. I was 6th in the preliminary. So even with not doing the water, even with having to skip that completely, I still came in 6th in the preliminary. And then 10 in the finale. And in 2024, they did not have a finale. It was only 5 that went on. And this year they did 10, which was a wonderful change because it allowed so many more people to move on. Because if they had not changed that, I still wouldn't have been able to go on the finale being 6th. Yeah. It was only the top 5, but with it being 10 in 2025, then, so many more got to do it, which was awesome.
I think that also made it more fun for the spectators and the families and support teams that came with people to get to see top 10 of each discipline compete.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I was able to go around before I had my finals, and I watched the field hunters because they were in the morning. I watched the show hunters later in the day because one of the boys from the barn where I ride was in the finals for a show hunters. So I got to see a lot more. They used to just have it in the covered arena, but I think the way they did it was a lot better in 2025.
I think too, you have an advantage by staying on the property in the campground. I've never done that, but it seems like it gives you're able to just zip back and forth and see more stuff. It's not such a commitment to go back to your hotel or your Airbnb or something like that. So
having the golf, I love having the golf. It's just to be able to get around, and you can go back to the campground, come back. Yeah,
I'm sure when it was raining cats and dogs, you weren't loving it, but
yeah, it was a little muddy, but luckily it dried out pretty quickly. I was surprised. Pretty good drainage and footing in the arenas at the horse park.
Yeah,
right?
though I think a pipe broke near where we were staying, overlooking where we were staying, and there was just water going everywhere at one point. But I forgot they got it under control.
They had to dig it up down by those.
So while people are trying to do their dressage tests and school their horses, there's just a backhoe just digging a new trench out there. Just for a little additional flair. Since the makeover, what do you think is your big kind of training takeaway in terms of Sterling?
Wow. I think just consistency. I always go back to that just can do so much. And I think too, like the details of things are super important. I think so many people are so big into, I have to get these jumps down, I have to get my horse jumping. And by details, can they get on and off a trailer really well? How do they feel about trailering? Do they stand quietly for mounting? Do they stay relaxed for bridling? I don't know, just all these little things, I think. And those are the pieces that I really enjoy doing and that I can do. And I think I'm led to doing them because it's easy for me to do those things at home. I don't have a facility where I can ride year round, but I can make sure that it's easy for everyone to work with them, that they can get on and off a trailer. So I think that's like something really important that I continue to like instill in my horses that I think is really important.
Yeah.
If you could give one piece of advice for someone entering either competitive trail or freestyle or both, what would it be?
I think I would say just go for it. Just try it. It's really a lot of fun. Even if you've never done it before, even if your horse is a dressage horse or you usually ride hunters, I think cross training is so important. And, you know, it's good for your horse to try something new and for you as well.
I think that's a great point. Something we talked about on the Patreon series with Neve's horse is he had never really jumped. I think he jumped, a cross trail or something like that. We did all of this obstacle training for him and for the competitive trail. And then a rider took him cross country schooling as his second jump school, really. But he immediately figured it out because he knew, I've got to.
It's a puzzle.
Puzzle. I need to figure this out and get to the other side. So even though he hadn't really, it all clicked into place. So
like a duck to water. He was like,
yeah, no, exactly. And like with the obstacle work, it's just, you got to go through it, right? You got to work through it and it just translate to jumping or
whatever else.
Even if you do dressage, you're going to go to a horse show and there's going to be weird things. And I think it all just translates.
Yeah. Or you could be at Devon and there could be a big puddle between you where you're stabled and like your ring that you need to get to, and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think also doing obstacle work, and I want to start doing some of it with my quarter horse and doing more of the emotional regulation stuff that I did with Oscar, because you really just find out so much. And one of the things you find out, for better or for worse, are where the holes are in their understanding and their communication with you. And I think it's really good to identify those shortcomings and figure out a way to bridge the gaps there. Because I think it deepens the connection that we have with them. And then when you're on their back and you're asking them to do something challenging, they're like, she's never put me in a compromising situation before, so of course I'm going to try it.
Yeah. I think it all goes together for sure.
I know you're sitting this year out, but would you do it again?
I think I would. My husband really wants me to do it again. Of course, he's not the one that's doing it all. He would support me if I wanted to do it again. And maybe someday, definitely not in the next, I'm not doing it this year for sure. I didn't apply. I really just like the training aspect of it. I really do. But I also would want to keep the horse afterwards.
Right.
I don't want to
How many do you end up with?
Horses. So but it is a lot of pressure to do it. And I'm definitely the type of person that if I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. Yeah. I'm not just going to be like, we'll see. So I think I would just have to be in the right mindset to say, yep, this is what I'm focusing on. Because it's a very short timeline, right? Commitment. And you really need to, it's a commitment. You really had to do it. And last winter, I was trailering out every week, multiple times a week. I was really structuring my time to prioritize training with him. And this winter's been nice because I haven't had to do any of that. I can just
enjoy your horses.
Just be.
Right. Enjoy your nicely trained horses.
Yeah.
Speaking of that timeline and that pressure, did you feel like you maybe succumb to any of that pressure in the way that you trained or any of the decisions that you made along the way, or did you hold true to yourself and your horses?
Yes and no. I think maybe I would have given him a little a little more time just at home riding instead of taking him out so much, because he definitely experienced a lot of anxiety because of that. But I tried to listen to him the best I could, keep it short and sweet, make it a positive experience. But I think maybe in hindsight, maybe establishing my relationship with him a little more at home for maybe the first 6 months and really get a good baseline before then we traveled off would maybe be really the only thing I would change. But it did work out in the end run, just continuing to get him off property and do things with him. He's awesome about it. So
yeah, for sure. At least hindsight's 2020, right? Sounds like it all worked out.
I don't think I hurt anything by doing it, but maybe if I was doing it differently, I would change that part. Yeah.
Let's switch gears, I think, and talk about a little bit about life after the makeover and what's next. What happened once you wrapped everything up, you got home? Did he get time off or did you keep riding him? Just tell us how that all
went. So we got back and my plan was like, oh, we're going to take some time off. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe like a month. I don't know. After a week, he was fine. I don't know. There was really no reason to. And let's see, we got back, I don't know, what was it, like the second week of October. So there's always this horse show here in Erie County. It's called the Trick or Trot Horse Show at the end of October. And it's the last like big show that people go to in this area. And it's a super fun one because it's a Halloween theme and there's a costume contest. And so I was like, he doesn't seem any worse for wear. Let's go to Trick or Trot. He's a hunter horse now. We're done with the makeover. So I took him to Trick or Trot and he was amazing. Oh. He just was like, okay, I'm a show horse. This is what I do now. He went in the stall for the weekend. He schooled in the ring. And this was the show. I don't know if you remember me talking. We took him to the same showplex, like indoor arena in April. It was his first big outing. And I said he was a combination of a freight train and a pogo stick. I like analogy. So it was amazing that he was not those things. He was
That's great.
Just lovely. We went around that ring on a loose rein and just was super. So it was a really great like bookend to my year of where we started and where we're ending.
That's great.
And we went in, I think we just did cross rail. So it was low and slow. And I was terrified because I'm just not the most confident jumping. I will back a horse into water and hack around the horse park alone, but put a cross rail in front of me and I'm freaking out. But he had it down. He just went around beautifully and quietly and was awesome. And I think we got a couple ribbons and that's how we ended it for the year. So it was really great. Yeah.
That's so good. And so have your goals, it sounds like your goals have changed. What's your new goal for him?
For him, I really would like him to get in the hunter ring. And right now he's been struggling with some lameness this winter. We tested him for Lyme. He doesn't have Lyme. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with him right now. Unfortunately, he's just hanging out. Gotcha. But hopefully we'll give him a little time off and kind of see where we're at in the next couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this winter I think has been really hard on them. And I think if they've got any kind of little thing going on, it's just going to be highlighted right now.
Yeah.
Never ending.
Never ending. I know.
I think we're getting 3 more storms.
I can't. I just.
Yeah, but he's just hanging out in the pasture and.
Yeah, he's getting his nice little winter vacay. And
he's getting a little vac. Now he's getting his break.
Yeah.
He didn't have in October. He can have his break.
Have you been scouring the internet for any more honor codes, or are you done collecting?
Or is Mike is still scouring?
Mike he's fine with whatever I want to do. I have to be the voice of reason here. Yeah.
I'm sure you heard this on our episode on Patreon, but one of the highlights, and I can speak for Emily, I think here for the makeover for us this year was getting to meet you finally in person and Mike and your whole family. And we just had such a wonderful time getting to know you in person. And it just felt like old friends immediately. And it's just really
also shout out to Mike for cooking for the barbecue that we had. Oh my gosh. Incredible.
That was definitely one of his
Oh,
highlights.
good.
He really enjoyed that. No, he really did.
Yeah.
That's his thing. He loves cooking. He loves getting people
Yeah.
together. So
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
yeah, no, I had a lot of fun at this makeover.
And I think if I can swing it, I think I might end up trying to get down there with somebody that's going this year, but I don't know. Last year just about killed me.
Need a year off in between.
I was thinking too, should I go and volunteer, just watch? I don't know. We'll see. I was also thinking it would be really fun to maybe go to the Upperville, like the big thoroughbred. Is it a derby that they're having there in Upperville?
Yep.
So if I was going to do like a trip.
Yeah, I know that Madison and Caden that were on our Hunter Jumper episode, they're going to be competing at that. So if you drive down this way, we'll just come get us and we'll go with you.
Yeah.
We have friends in Virginia.
Perfect. Yeah.
We can just kidnap
great.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have a little reunion.
Oh my gosh, that would be really fun.
That would be so fun.
All right. Steph, thank you so much for this long overdue update. Hopefully our listeners will be eager to hear it. We have to catch up with Chelsea at some point, but she is now right in the throes of foaling season. I think she's already had a couple babies on the ground.
She's had 8, I think. She's had a bunch.
Yeah, they're coming even though it's just snowing and whatever. So
0 degrees.
They don't care.
Does not sound like
no, it really does not. Any final questions,
right.
Emily? Any final thoughts, you guys?
I think I'm good. Stephanie, is there anything else you wanted to cover or say?
No. I think that was really it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to?
I'll have to give you guys a picture or something to put on too.
Yeah, if you can get a couple pictures, and if you have any videos or anything that you want to share, we can include those as well. Maybe I think I might have a video of you backing down the bank. I'll have to see. I don't know if I was in like a great vantage point, but
yeah, I have one. I know I have a professional photo from the Trick or Trot show of him jumping the lacrosse rail.
Cute. Okay.
And then I obviously have some of the makeover.
Okay.
Yeah. So, to show like what he's doing now and what he did and
That'd be great.
Perfect.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, or the backing. The backing might be good. I don't know if I have a photo, but
I think I
video.
took a photo of you doing that too.
Yeah, actually, maybe we could.
We'll find it.
I'll look through and I'll send you guys.
She's going to do it no matter what.
I'm so glad he did it. I didn't know what he would do. I wasn't sure if he would leap out as soon as his feet touched the water.
That's always the scary part.
It actually worked.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it if you left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Facebook. And don't forget, if you leave a review, we'll send you some OTTB on Tap stickers as a thank you. But you have to send us your address. You can connect with us. Don't forget about Patreon, but also Facebook, Instagram, and we have a very neglected TikTok that we need to pick back up. You can also get in touch with us for interview suggestions or episode ideas anytime at ottbontap.com. We love hearing from you.
Cheers.
Cheers.